What's happening, YouTube? Cowboy here, and welcome back to another Heroes of the Storm strategy showcase. And today we are taking a look at Rexxar the Beastmaster. Now, Rexxar is a warrior, and a rather unique one at that, because the bear you see here, Misha, is the one that's actually going to be doing the tanking. So in general, Rexxar, you got to play conservatively, keep him towards the back line, while Misha is going to be the one that's up front, getting the damage in, tanking, stunning. And it does create a very, very interesting playstyle for a warrior. Just from my experience so far, I feel that because of this, Rexxar works very well in a 2-warrior comp. But regardless, he is a ton of fun to play, and with some proper micro, he's actually insanely powerful for body blocks and pincer attacks. So to take a look at our abilities, first up we have Spirit Swoop. Launch a hawk and deal damage to enemies and slow them. Overall, a decent initiation move, 30% slow for 2 seconds, has a moderate range, can also be talented to be one of the best wave clears in the game. Moving on from there, Misha, Charge! Now this ability is probably one of the most devastating base tier abilities I have ever seen in Heroes of the Storm. This thing's on a 12-second cooldown. You can talent it so that her basic attacks reduce the cooldown by 2 seconds a hit. And on top of that, this is a short-range AoE stun. And because Misha is always in the fray on top of enemy heroes, this very frequently ends up hitting 3 to 4 people. Needless to say, a 3 to 4 man stun in a team fight is brutal. Moving on from there, of course, we have Men Pet, basic heal over time spell to keep Misha alive in the fray. And then we have our trait. Now with your trait, you can either issue Misha to attack your target, or you can have her passively follow you. And it does take a little bit of practice to getting used to, because whereas with something like the Lost Vikings, you micro each of the Vikings individually, with Misha and Rexxar on the other hand, your controls mainly dictate where Rexxar is going to go. And there are some tricks to change the direction Misha is going to go, but for the most part, you have to have a difference between alternating right clicks and then a little bit of your trait management to pull it off successfully. As for our 2 traits, we have one that's more of an initiation, one that's more of an offensive option. Our first, Unleash the Boars, and this is my personal favorite. You basically send out a large frontal cone AoE that'll send out a bunch of boars. They will reveal any enemies in that area, so stealthed enemies also get broken out, and it will ram into them, slowing them by 40% for 5 seconds. Great initiation on the enemy team. Our other choice, of course, Bestial Wrath. Increase Misha's basic attack damage by 150% for 12 seconds, which is a pretty brutal ability in its own right. So, I had to change up my skin. I love the Frost Sword skin, but either way, we're going to ready up. I'm going to go through my talents real quick, and then show you what Misha's and Rexxar are all about. So, my general talent build. At level 1, Hunter-Gatherer. At 4, Hungry Bear. At 7, Aspect of the Beast. At 10, Unleash the Boars. At 13, Wildfire Bear. At 16, Feign Death. And then lastly, at 20, Frenzy of Kalimdor. Now, there are some variations, really depending on the situation, and, you know, it's true for every hero, but I feel it's especially true in the case of Rexxar, because his talents do switch up really depending on who you have on your team and what the other team has. Prime example of this, of course, is right at level 1, Flare. If you're up against a Nova or a Zeratul, Flare is devastating. 20-second cooldown for a 5-second reveal, that's like, you know, it's like having your own Tassadar trait every 20 seconds as a warrior. Needless to say, stealthies don't like that. And it looks like we got a game pop already. We have a Rhaegar, a Tychus, and a Leorc. Ooh, I like this. We got 2 tanks, we have a support, we got some solid range DPS. This should be splendid. So before the game starts, one other thing I want to say is I promise you guys I will have those hero builds coming. It's just kind of hard trying to juggle the new build videos while also playing new releases like Phantom Pain and Mad Max, but I'm going to try and find some time this weekend to get the Kael, Zagara, and Kerrigan builds out. I do want to circle back around to the Lost Vikings as well and play some of the supports that were updated. On top of that, another thing I've been considering doing is actually bringing you guys daily Heroes of the Storm vids, just because right now I feel like my content production for this game is really just these build videos, and despite that, I probably play this game more than any other game I have right now, so I figure if I'm going to be playing it that much, I might as well share some of the love. So if you guys think you'd be interested in seeing dailies hero vids with commentary, do let me know in the comments section below. And that'd certainly be something I could start bringing to you guys, like every night at midnight or something, a new Heroes vid. But either way, let's see. We got an Asmo, ETC, Karas and Rexxar, and a Zebo. Alright, alright, alright. So, we're going to be going Hunter-Gatherer here. Now, out of all the available talents, the only one I don't like here is Survivalist Training. Honestly, it's just not all that worth it. Grizzle Bear can be a decent choice, especially if you're being very aggressive. What do you mean you can't leave or join? I don't know what's going on with Arthas.
Do whatever it is you do.
That's weird. So Grizzle Bear is decent if you want to be aggressive, but ultimately I don't feel that you really need it. Hunter-Gatherer, on the other hand, one important thing to note is that right now it is bugged, and by that, basically, if Rexxar or Misha don't pick up the orb, they won't get credit for it. So before combat starts, a couple tricks here. As you can see, as long as I'm right-clicking, Misha's following me. You can send her to a different spot by going right-click and then A, left-click. Like, well, there's enemies there, so right-click, A, left-click. No, it's not going to work around enemies. Never mind that. We'll just jump up on this Gazebo. Get the sword. But attack-clicking will cause Rexxar to go somewhere, whereas right-clicking, if Misha's not already attacking, will cause her. So if I right-click and then I attack that way, you can see I was able to split them up there. It's a little bit hard to really get the micro for her down in combat, just because you have to use the attack function. One other important thing is you can harass with Misha if you do it appropriately. As you can see, even though I'm not attacking, Misha is jumping into the fray, getting some damage in, and basically as long as you stay about half a screen back, Misha will continue to attack. So right there, I'm going to attack that Gazebo and then back up. And you can see right when I went too far, it said leashing up on the screen. That's the indicator that Misha will be pulled away from me. I'm going to take her up on top, help with these temples. Rexxar is actually really powerful holding temples. Wasn't even looking. Kind of see how I'm staying close enough to Misha that she doesn't have to pull, but really I'm using her to bully the enemy team back. It's a good way to do it. So I like to go for Hungry Bear at 4, and Hungry Bear isn't needed. You do have quite a bit on the regen alone for Misha, but I feel that it helps because with Hungry Bear I can have her tank bosses and I can solo bosses just fine, which is always a nice benefit. On top of that, out of the other choices, the only other one I'd really consider here is Crippling Talons, making our slow a 40% for 3 seconds, which is pretty nice, but at the same time, I'd rather have the extra healing on Misha to ensure that she can, take those camps just fine. Like, even though this is going to give me the extra damage against mercs, that healing, man, she can tank towers, she can tank bosses, she can tank forts, she can tank everything, just because now you have Men-Pet, but you also have the healing coming in on her basic attacks.
Find something else to fight her.
We're going to pull off. We don't want her on getting hit by 2 towers. She can definitely tank 1. I want to try and bust this fountain here before the tower starts. I don't think Gazebo wants that to happen though. He's like, no, go away. So right click and then attack click. You can see how I split them apart. Basically, it's a big thing that you want to get practice with just for certain AoE times. If you see a living bomb on Misha, you can use that to separate Misha from you to ensure that she's not going to follow you back with that living bomb. The other thing is retreat attacking. As you can see, I'm going to right-click Gazebo and then run, and Misha will chase him while I am running around. It's good if you're being oh shoot, I got you, Tychus. It's good to know if you're being chased. Dude was mad worried. So much tears.
Soon they shall pass.
Push him away. Try and get these guys down real fast. That took some very unnecessary damage right there and stunned a bit too early. I'm gonna send Misha up, have her wait there in the bushes. Actually, no, we'll just have her work on this because this guy's gonna drop orbs. See, this is what Misha is great for. She can be a very powerful zoning tool if you position her appropriately. Remember, just make sure they're not going to come in and Alright, Tyka should be fine there. Finish up this temple. Alright, now at 10, I like to go for Unleash the Boars. A lot of people I've been seeing pick Bestial Wrath, and it's alright, but, you know, I'd much rather have a very powerful initiation tool over just bumping up Misha's damage. And I mean, you know, for me at least, the benefit of Misha isn't her damage, it's more that she's getting in there and she's doing stuns. Like, as you can see right now, you know, she's hitting for 82, I'm hitting for 126. So, yeah, increasing it does help, but at the end of the day, I'd much rather have a very powerful initiation that's wide range, that can break stealth. Those are all good things. I need to retreat. I don't think I can save him in time. Oh. I don't know why he was hanging around for so long. This dude just likes to cry about stuff, it seems.
I've got the scent. This way.
Mana up real fast.
We ought to take this murder. Misha, to me.
Ooh, that big stun right there. So if Misha dies, Misha is basically worth the same amount as a Murky or a Lost Viking kill. So if you see a Misha kill, it's the 0.25. That's from his dying. Alright, so level 13. Now this is a talent that I spent a lot of time really on the fence about, and ultimately I decided to stick with Wildfire Bear. Now, out of the two, Wildfire Bear and Thrill the Hunt are both very powerful. If you are against lots of spells like Jaina or Kale, of course Marksman is a decent choice. And the main reason I like Thrill the Hunt so much is that 25% movement speed is nice to help you both escape if you need that extra speed burst, but on top of that, it's great for chasing and helping to secure kills. With that in mind, at the same time, I feel like Wildfire Bear is a very strong choice just because Misha is constantly in the fray. She's chasing enemies around, and that's just static burn damage that's going to add up over time. Like right now, you know, this guy's health just slowly working down, even though we weren't attacking him. So it really can depend on the situation. You know, in this particular comp, we're going to have Rhaegar dropping down his totems. On top of that, we're going to have Leoric that's going to be doing his swing, so we already have a lot of slows, and I don't think I'll need that speed, but it is a decent choice to consider.
And so
Over here, get me another orb.
fades from my temples, but it will return.
The main reason I like the regions so much as well, which I don't think I mentioned earlier, but even though Misha is the real tank of the relationship, Rhaegar doesn't have anything, really. Or not Rhaegar, excuse me, Rexxar. So having something, at least, for Rexxar to give him a little bit of sustain will help you out quite a bit because, I mean, you are a warrior, and you can do some rather awesome body blocks if played properly with him. So having a little bit of regen on him will be quite useful. So Let out the boars. The boars are coming in, slowing everything. So I cleared most of them out. And we're 16. So it's 16, Feign Death. You know, it's just brutal. I played around with Aspect of the Hawk a little bit, as well as Primal Intimidation. Primal Intimidation is nice against auto attack comps, but honestly, Feign Death is just such an incredibly powerful skill. It really is hard to pass it up. Basically, when you pop this, you go into stasis for 5 seconds, and you're untargetable, you can't take damage. It's very similar to how the monk plays when he pops his ultimate. And honestly, it's a brutal mechanic because, I mean, you know, Nova's trying to hit you with something, pop that. Blizzard coming down from Jaina, pop that. You know, like, regardless of what's about to happen, you just pop that, you can avoid all damage, and on top of that, while you're doing this, you can still fight with Misha. That was pretty good, I'll go with that. We're getting pinched, we gotta go. It's time to mount and get out of here. Overstayed our welcome. Make our way up top, though. I have Misha back up with me. So, now basically, I just pop the Feign Death. And as you can see, I'm able to chase around, have him, you know, just chase him around with Misha doing damage while my Rexxar is just chilling. Right now I'm just going to have Misha do a little bit of harassment. I don't think they're happy about me doing this over and over again. Big AoE stun, just drop out the boars, get some slows out. That was actually a terrible boar. I'm trying to get Misha to catch up now. He's not going to get over there in time. That's fine, we'll swing down. Boss is up, and we are going to head on over and solo the boss. So stat-wise, doing pretty well. 34,000 tanked, 16,000 hero damage, 33,000 siege.
You have stolen enough.
Now, soloing bosses is actually quite easy with Rexxar. As you can see, especially with Hungry Bear, the healing that he's doing is more than enough to sustain it. One thing I would mention is pop your trait to go passive, and then do it again to pull Misha out and avoid that stun. Will help quite a bit. It's not completely necessary, but, I mean, if it's going to help, it's going to help, you know. Ooh, thank you for that. That was so kind of you. Good old Kerrigan giving us that camp. What a nice dude. And I think we may be going for the GG push right here. I mean, we're only 13 minutes in, but this has been pretty brutal. There's the stun. That's the double. I can't even get out. I can't even move. Yeah, that is the game. 14 minutes and 13 seconds. Talk about a brutal match.
Leave my domain.
So I obviously didn't get to pick my level 20 talent, so real quick we're going to go into the typical level 20 choices once we hit go through what we did have. So Hunter-Gatherer, Hungry Bear, Aspect of the Beast, Unleash the Boars, Wildfire Bear, Feign Death. Now for our final tier, honestly, almost all these choices are good. With the boars, if you need the root, it makes the initiation even more powerful, adding that 1.5 second root. You know, it just lets you really get on, secure your kills on the target. Personally, as I mentioned, I'm a big fan of Frenzy of the Kalimdor. And, I mean, the 10% increased damage isn't what we need out of this, but it's the 20% slow on Misha's basic attacks. Because when you think about it, we have Aspect of the Beast, so every time she attacks, her charge is going to get closer to coming off cooldown. On top of that, we are right on top of our target with Wildfire Bear, adding in that damage over time. So basically having a 20% slow onto her attacks on top of all that will ensure she's able to stick on the target. She's burning them up. On top of that, she's pulling her stun off cooldown, and it all comes together to make basically just a very powerful synergy with Misha. But either way, guys, that is Rexxar. So hopefully you enjoyed the build. Like I said, he really is a lot of fun to play. Works great in double warrior comps. Does take a little bit of getting used to. But make sure to stay tuned. I'm going to try and get some of those other builds actually recorded up today. So maybe we'll have another HOTUS build coming for you guys on Monday. So thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you the next time we jump into the Nexus.